What's up, Liron here, and today we're doing a book flip through. What's up, Liron here. Thank you for joining me in another video. And after many requests, today I'm doing a book flip through of this one, Architectural Details, a visual guide to 5,000 years of building styles. This book, I found it fascinating. It shows different eras in the architecture from 5,000 years ago up until almost modern day, I would say. And I like several things about it. First off, I love architecture. I love seeing different building styles and things like this. As you can see here at the back, I have a painting I'm working on. This is more of a realistic experiment, taking my time with it. I've been working on it for like a week now. So I love architecture. Now, the second thing is I love the artwork in this book with all of the hatchings and different details. This is something I really enjoy. And so immediately I knew I want to try reading this book, and I actually am curious about reading the actual information about how the different styles and patterns came to be. So I'll probably take some time and browse more in depth and see what I can learn. Now, a few things. I went through it a little fast at some parts because it's just a long book and I didn't want to make it too long of a video. But if there's anything you missed or you want me to show you, or even a piece of paragraph or text that you wanted to read and you didn't get the chance to, let me know and I will share it on Instagram or Snapchat or even here on YouTube. Doesn't matter to me. I'll be happy to show you more of what you want. And did I have another final note? Yeah, some of these sketches in here are really good for exercises, for warming up. There are different patterns and things like this. So I would suggest you try opening up your mind to that possibility as well, because some of the things here are really interesting and they don't necessarily require a lot of skills, but just a few. Not a lot of these are highly detailed. Some don't require much skill. It's just a pattern and then you can recreate it, and I think it's a really good practice. So in any case, without further ado, let's get started with the flip through. Okay, so I'm going to get started with the tour, and this is actually me discovering this together with you. I did look at some of the illustrations and some of the things that I really liked, but other than that, I didn't really actually read, and I didn't go through them page by page. I kind of skipped ahead. So now we're experiencing this together. I didn't mark any interesting spots or things like this, so we'll just get started. So Architectural Details, a visual guide to 5,000 years of building styles. Emily Cole, general editor. Okay, there's probably tons of other people that worked into making this thing happen. But in any case, I hope you can see well in terms of the light. I tried arranging some stuff, but this is the best setup I could achieve. So this is like a mini cover. Architectural details, Okay, introduction. I want to get to the sketches. So it goes by styles and by eras, I guess. So we have here the beginning, and it starts in ancient Egypt. I'm going to try and hold it up so you can better see. I think this is the best. So you can see, for example, here the mastabas. I don't even know how to pronounce that. So several things that really attracted me to this book. First, you know, I love buildings and I love these kinds of things. I love landscapes as well, but buildings, like nothing like architecture to get me going artistically. And so I like just the knowledge behind it, and I will take my time and more carefully read this. Another thing I really like is just the artwork. Like if you notice, look at the technique here, the etching or cross-hatching. It's just incredible. There will be some much more complex examples. Now we're still in ancient Egypt, so it's still quite basic. Now I don't want to bore you, so I will flip through while talking, and if there's something you want to see more of, you'll just pause the video and take a better look. Notice this beautiful contrast. This is really the verge, I would say, or the border between art and science, and I really love both. So really amazed by this. Here you have like a full, let me hold it up to the camera. You have like a full landscape here. So really impressive. And we'll soon skip ahead a bit because I want to make sure we get to all of the eras that are covered here. You see beautiful details, strong contrast, light and shadow, all of the way these structures arch. I love these kinds of things. This looks like almost a photo, so I'm going to zoom in a bit, and it's probably really a large piece of work. I don't necessarily even know what the purpose of these was originally was, just to represent what happened, to have a bit of an artistic twist. I'm not sure. Here you have another beautiful example with these poles. Okay, now we're getting to Babylon, Assyria, and Persia. This is really interesting. So I was gonna skip ahead, but I'm happy that we didn't have to. This is another change of scenery that I like. I like the changes when you immediately feel like you're taken to a different place, I guess, in the world, and not just a different time or a time period. Check this out, and these two are wow. To me, that's like the real treat here in this book. And I already talked about what my favorite architecture, let's say, time period is, so we will get to that a little later on. Early in classical India, that's really cool. Now we're getting to India. Wow, notice the level of details here. Incredible. My favorite era is more in Europe, and we will get to that. I love all of these, but Europe is, my favorite in terms of the architecture, and you'll get to see what I like the most. A bit more of India. Just a lot of people have commented on this one and wanted to see more of it, so I really wanted to make sure I see this. By the way, if there's a book that you don't know that I have it, but if you want me to review a book, let me know. I may get, because I am planning on getting some new books or art books. Now we're early dynastic China. So we have this very distinct style that you can see here. What you'd really see there to this day, probably in many of the, I suppose, shrines, things like that. I never visited China, though I would love to. You know what's funny? I love these kinds of schematics and plans and stuff like that, almost as much as I like the final, more three-dimensional work for some reason. This is something I always liked. I actually played around with the idea of actually studying architecture, like for real, like getting a degree, but who knows. These things I really love. Take a look at this. I keep being in awe of what I see, so I have to bring it up to the camera. Let's see what else we have here. China, classical Japan. So, I love Japan. This is another thing, with all the manga and anime, so Japan fascinates me. This one I'll actually want to read in depth and learn more of, like the Buddhist temples and different shrines. This is really interesting to me. I love these kinds of pagodas, structures. Let's see what else we got here. Funny enough, in terms of artwork, I like the Indian one the most up until now. Not necessarily the structures, but the Indian. Okay, Pre-Columbian. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. By the way, I'm working on feeling comfortable with the silence, so you will notice maybe in future videos as well that I feel that less of a need to fill in any gaps, to make sure I talk all the time. Because a lot of people commented, like, it's fine, you don't have to narrate everything, and it's okay. Like, usually it comes naturally. It's not like I force myself to do it, but I'm gonna try and make myself feel even. By the way, ancient Greece, also beautiful, interesting time period architecturally. But I'm gonna try, what I was saying, is make myself more comfortable with just being silent. Check these out. I love these kinds of etchings. I'm gonna zoom in a bit more, so now you can really see the details. And by the way, if there is something here that I have shown briefly and you want me to show more of, or even if I just obstructed it with my hand or something like this, let me know and I'll share. Even just, you can tell me the page or the approximate place, and I'll post it on Instagram or Snapchat or anywhere else, or even here on YouTube. I don't mind. It'll be my pleasure. I just want to provide more of the things that will interest you. I'm really trying to grow the channel and also my following on Instagram mainly. This is another focus of mine. So anything you want me to show, I would really appreciate if you let me know in a comment, and I'll be sure to do that because I really want to get more people on board. Here we go. We have this lovely, more highly detailed scene. I spent the last few days at my parents' place for the holidays, And I also updated on Instagram. So, oh, by the way, check this out. So I just got back now to Tel Aviv, and I'm working on recording several videos, and I'm trying to do it kind of in a hurry before I lose the daylight, because it's now 2:15 p.m. So I noticed that after 3 in the afternoon or early afternoon, it starts to be a little too dark to really record good videos. So I'm trying to get that in. Ancient Rome still. There's a lot to cover here in ancient Rome, but I'm going to skip ahead a bit because I do want to get to the there we go, early Christian and Byzantine. I think it starts here, maybe a little before. Yeah, so we have this, because I have seen some really interesting, here, this one I love a lot. So I did want to show you this one. There's a lot of others. So I'm just going to flip through. You know how old people do, like they lick their finger and then they flip through, so I had to do that now. I love these kinds of schematics, again, that show you the side sectioning, if that's the way to say it, side section, the top view section. I love these kind of things. Let's see what else we got here. The arches, this is getting really complex, like architecturally and artistically to draw it becomes a little more of work. I suppose. This is lovely. This also, I love these two. This looks a bit like, this reminds me at least of Italy and Tuscany, kind of the older areas, even with trees and everything. But this is Greece, it says. Yeah, it appears. So I really will have to read it if I want to be able to talk about it. I don't want to talk about stuff I don't know. Islamic, this is really interesting as well. So let me show you. I love this kind of sketches and etchings with the strong sense of depth. You know, you see this part is so dark and it's just beautiful. And the Islamic, let's say heritage or architecture is really impressive. All of the structures. This is something that you get to see a lot. Actually, in Israel, you get to see a lot of it. In Jerusalem, and I just love the whole thing. It reminds me of also of Assassin's Creed, the video game I played. So you play in Constantinople on Turkey today, and I just love these structures. And this is my first association with them. Funny enough, climbing these towers and stuff like that. This is something I wanted to. Okay, Romanesque. This is getting interesting. This is where now I'm in the zone. This is what I really like. So check these out. So I was just going to say that I do want to share more personal stuff, not like personal in terms of the people in my life and things like this. I have no interest in that because that's a matter of privacy, but more personal about me. So for example, I do love video games, even though I don't have a lot of time to play, so I don't really do it as much. But Assassin's Creed was a video game series that I really, really, really liked. Now I'm currently, like, the one thing I am playing is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I am going to talk about it in a future podcast of me wanting to share more of that, because it also connects artistically. Meaning, I love to sketch and draw and paint characters from the video games, and I don't get to do it a lot because, again, I'm really focused on work, but I do want to do more of that. Check this out. The moment you have this nice but accurate contrast, you have my attention. So yeah. And again, if you want me to show you something in more details or anything like that, let me know in a comment. I can show it. So here we go. This is the main thing I was talking about. Gothic is my favorite. I don't know why it got stuck to me. I think I watched like a kids TV show in Israel when I was younger, and it had Gothic buildings, like with the gargoyles, I suppose, and all of the folk that comes with it. And so this stuck in my mind, I guess. So this is one of the eras that I like the most, architecturally and artistically. Well, architecturally speaking, I'd say the arches become a little taller and a little more oval, more extreme oval, less of a circle. Let me show you some more. So I don't know much like technical knowledge, but I do know when I see it, I love it. All of these patterns, flamboyant window. That's funny. Check this out. And there's gonna be a few other beautiful ones, these kinds of towers. Oh man, I love these things. There's gonna be something in a few moments I'm going to show you. I'm not sure, maybe it's no longer the Gothic one, but the patterns on the windows that look like clovers. This I like artistically. Also, you get to see a more zoomed in version with all the details and the etches. This is something I really like. Just the way they... I think this also has influenced my cross-hatching style, because my pen style tends to be very cross-hatch-ish, or cross-hatchy, because it's something I really like. And I want to develop more. I know my technique could be much, much better at cross-hatching. These two are the ones I really wanted to show you, and especially this one. I love this, and you can pause the video and read a bit more if you want to on the different, just the information of the shapes and how they came to be and where. I'm gonna sit down and read this probably today even, or tomorrow. So again, we're in the Gothic. Let's move a little faster. Gothic. These are beautiful. Check this out. Just tons of details. That's the thing. I love it. And you know, it was downsized significantly. It's probably like a larger representation, then they make it smaller. So now now I figured it. I wasn't really looking. It's just the different areas. So Gothic, Northern and Central Europe. I was looking at it earlier. Actually, I just forgot to to mention it. So Renaissance, with all the Latin, I guess, words. This really interests me. I actually met a few people that can read Latin, and I was like, I want to do that too. So again, Florence, this really is, if you visited Florence, you will recognize the style and all of those things. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is, I guess, something that I like almost as much as the more Gothic. Tall towers, you know, with the thin details. So this one is a bit more dome-based, but still I love it. Renaissance, villas and gardens, royal chateau of 16th century France. Tons and tons of stuff. I'm gonna pick up the pace a little bit just because I want to make sure that we finish everything. And I don't remember where it ends exactly. So Baroque and Rococo. This is something I know nothing about, but check this out. And these two, this panorama, love these kinds of things. So we're past my favorite time period. So if you do want me to show you the rest of the book in more detail, again, let me know. But I'm gonna just rush through these. This is nice. I love seeing the top view and how it's across and the base. Just so smart, you know, the way they built these kinds of things a long time ago with a more inferior technology, I guess, really impresses me. Of course, they like the building capabilities were really good. It's easy to say that it wasn't, because now we have much more advanced technology, but it was actually really advanced. So I don't know, neoclassical. This is nice. This is so many you know, intricate details, and this is more organic shapes too, which I find much more challenging in many cases than buildings with lots of straight lines. So this fascinates me as well. I really have to like take some time and go through this. Oh, now you see these I also really like with the different bricks. I really noticed these when I visited Paris. I guess many of the doorways had these patterns on them, and maybe it wasn't exactly the same because I'm really undereducated in exactly the exact pattern, but it feels to me like it was very similar with these arch stones and then the normal bricks that are, you know, one where the gap is between the other. I can't explain it, but I think you see what I mean. Let's see what else. Different patterns like this. These are good exercises just for drawing, you know. Doing these patterns, filling up an entire page with them, which I really like. German, picturesque. I don't know what that is, but oh, that's nice. I love these. Okay, so this is also my style, but more for watercolor, I guess. The more outside, I guess, village look. This is nice. This is a nice change of pace. Gardens and estate buildings What's that? Elements. Oh, okay. So now this is nice. I didn't notice this ending chapter. So the different components, like the domes, and then probably there's going to be columns, windows, probably towers, arches. This is really interesting, but it's just a long book. So that's like 300 and something pages. And this is excellent as a reference, I would say, if you just want to pick something up and go with it and practice it, stairs in different perspective. This is really good. So in any case, I will wrap this book flip through now, wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm gonna change the angle and do it face to face. So this is it. I really hope you enjoyed this video and seeing this book. Let me know what you thought of this, and again, if you missed something and you want to see it, let me know in a comment below. And generally speaking, leave a comment below, let me know what you thought of this, and if there's anything else you want me to see. I really the comments mean a lot to me, and they help me and allow me to know what you want to see more of. Okay, it's the one thing I base my video content creation strategy on, and it just makes me feel really good to read the comments and learn more about what you like. Okay, so it really means a lot to me, and I want to thank you so much for following me and watching the videos and liking and sharing and subscribing and all of the good things that you do. I really appreciate it, and I always enjoy reading the feedback. So thank you so much for that. It really means a lot to me. And this is it for today. I will see you again in another vid real soon.